I'm Paul Carroll. I'm the editor-in-chief of Insurance Thought Leadership. I'm speaking with Randal Day of Verisk Analytics, and we're talking principally about claims and predictive analytics. But I'll begin just by putting the question to you, what are the latest developments in terms of claims and analytics?
Well, first of all, we're seeing a lot more adoption and a lot more interest in predictive analytics. And I think the first application in claims has mainly been around fraud. And what I'm seeing now is that people are using analytics in different ways, primarily in workers' compensation, which is what we're talking about. They're using analytics to try to find claims, find problem claims that aren't as obvious when they come in the door. And we're also seeing developments where people are trying to create more sophisticated models by using external data.
What might be an example of a claim that was a landmine that people wouldn't otherwise spot?
Well, first, to give you an example of the obvious. If a claim comes in the door and it refers to serious knee injury, hospitalization, you know that you need to get some attention onto it. But other claims it just may be a combination of factors, and no single factor is alarming. Maybe it's a demographic issue, age, occupation, that sort of issue. One of our customers was telling us about a thumb injury that turned into a $1 million plus claim.
Wow.
Because of various factors.
Okay, that's pretty wild.
You would never have known that.
Right. So, say a little bit more, if you would, about how insurers can use predictive analytics to control losses.
Well, in talking about that, the application of finding the potential problem claim, insurers are able to then do different things to mitigate the loss, to intervene earlier. And once the claims organization realizes the potential, they know what to do. There are a lot of smart people working in workers' compensation claims. So they would get their best resources onto the claim, get the more experienced adjuster, get more medical review, get their pharmacy benefit program involved, more management scrutiny, etc.
What would customers like to do with predictive analytics that maybe they aren't able to do now?
Well, I think, first of all, when you're talking about predictive analytics, you're talking about now being proactive instead of reactive. The term analytics, you may be talking about just drilling down and understanding trends. But what we're trying to do now is anticipate and predict what's going to happen on a specific claim. I think one thing that I've heard from our customers is we do not want to create any additional work for the adjuster.
Right.
We want to operationalize these claims. Just get it into our workflows and processes and go ahead and get a claim assigned early, get it into the right place.
Are there any best practices you would identify that carriers ought to be using when it comes to predictive analytics?
Well, the best practice I would talk about is just that, to integrate it into your workflow. But when you're considering predictive analytics, I think some best practices would be to think carefully about whether or not it's something that your organization wants to try and build themselves, or whether they need to be working with a vendor who has capability. And when you're looking at that, look at the right partner that can give you the data expertise, that can give you the insurance expertise, and can really help you implement this successfully. And finally, when you're implementing, you don't forget about the people. Don't forget about the change management, because new initiatives can be scary to an organization.
Right. How do predictive analytics change how insurers will process claims?
I think by getting this earlier attention onto a claim, it's going to create a number of downstream benefits. It's going to eliminate reassignments to a great degree. It will have a positive impact on the financial situation and help get the workers back to work earlier.
Okay. Can you look out a few years and talk about where we'll be in terms of predictive analytics and how people will use them?
I think you're just going to see it get stronger and stronger and used in different ways to tell a more complete story. We talked initially about fraud, and that may have been the only application that a claims organization was using. And now we're talking about a different model. As you get more data and it gets stronger, now models can tell you different things. We've heard organizations expressing interest in helping to predict reserves, whether or not a claim is one that's going to be settled, whether or not a claim has propensity for litigation, things like that.
Sounds great. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.